But anyways, with these 17th games, obviously what they're doing is they're going back into the interconference cycle. This year we're in year 4, and they're going to have an opponent from year 2 in the cycle. So, and they're going to play the team that finished across from them in the division. So, practically what this means is, let's just go for the Houston Texans. In year 4, they were going to play every team in the NFC West. In year 2, they play the NFC South. So they're going to play the team that finished third in the NFC South last year, which was the Carolina Panthers. So that's how they're determining these extra matchups, but I have a different idea. I think it'd be more interesting if they did kind of like college football and they had a rival they played every year, and if it's their turn in the cycle, you could play them twice for all I care. But anyways, here are my proposed territorial rivalries for the NFL.
And we got 16 of them, right?
Yes, we do. With some flexible options. I'll explain more about the flexible options later.
Did you rank them or no?
Oh no, they're not ranked. I just
I was about to say maybe next week. Tell you what, next week.
No. We don't really need to rank these. They're
okay.
We're just gonna go through and we're gonna get them. All right, we're gonna start with one that seemed very obvious: Seattle versus Denver.
Ooh, Super Bowl matchup too.
They were old AFC West division rivals, but really, I mean, it was too good of a fit to be true. Because, I mean, none of the other teams in the region really qualified. And then their trophy, they would play for a trophy that was just a big pot leaf.
I was about to say the Weed Bowl. Okay.
Yep, so that's one. You also have Vegas and Arizona. They play for a trophy that looks like a cactus. Indeed. Moving on, this might be the first one that might generate a little buzz. We got Houston versus New Orleans. The Bayou Bowl, they play for a trophy that looks like a crocodile.
Okay.
Yep. I had a tough time deciding between Houston playing New Orleans or Dallas, but it just seemed like nobody else really fit for New Orleans. So you have the Bayou angle with New Orleans, Houston. There you go. For Dallas, I have them playing Pittsburgh. Maybe?
A Florida team wouldn't do it?
Well, I mean, if you're going to do New Orleans, Jacksonville, that just doesn't really fit. So, I mean, that's what I did. And instead of having the all Texas affair. And then, so Dallas versus Pittsburgh, that's pretty obvious.
Yes.
And going back to Florida, you got Tampa Bay against Miami. Those were the two that really fit out of that.
I agree.
Going up to the Northeast, well, actually, the Northeast we might have a little bit of debate on, but we don't have much debate on the Battle of the Beltway. Washington football team and the Ravens, too good to pass up there.
DMV.
Right. Now, the ones that get really tricky are the ones in the Midwest, because it's kind of difficult to find good fits out of this one, but I tried my best. So I got Detroit versus Cleveland.
What's the prize?
They're going to play for a bust that has the heads of Dwight Eisenhower and John F. Kennedy, because they were last relevant in the 50s and 60s. Moving on, we've got Chicago versus Indianapolis.
So we got the Bears and Indy. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Their trophy will be Rex Grossman's armband from Super Bowl 41.
Oof.
Moving on, we have Green Bay versus Buffalo. Two
Green
small
Bay and
market
Buffalo?
towns on the Great Lakes. So we just have a trophy that has the outline of the Great Lakes. That's what the two of them are going to play over.
The Lake Bowl.
Yes,
okay.
We got that. And the last Midwestern pairing I got is Minnesota and Cincinnati. This one, we're going to have two mismatched puzzle pieces that were just thrown together, because that's honestly what they are. All right. So, if you've been counting, we have only gone over 10 pairs. That's because we got some others that could be debated. So here's the first one I got that is debatable. In the Northeast, I have the Battle of New York and then Eagles-Patriots. Now, obviously, New York is pretty self-explanatory. You could basically fight over a trophy that looks like the Empire State Building. And then with Boston and Philadelphia, they're two very historic cities. You could have a trophy that looks like the U.S. flag with 13 stars on it. Would be good, but there is an alternative here. You could have Jets-Eagles in a New York-Philly setting, and then Giants-Patriots in a New York-Boston setting. So would you rather have New York, New York, or would you rather have New York, Philly, and New York, Boston? Which would be better here?
Let's go New York, New York, and let's give the old Super Bowl rematch. Because I like the Eagle and Patriot rivalry.
Yeah, I think it would fit too, but I wanted to maybe get a little flexible on that one. But
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
So, hey, here's one. So, just out of curiosity.
No, I haven't finished yet. So, we got a South couple of pairings that could also be altered a little bit. I had initially Jacksonville versus Atlanta and Tennessee versus Carolina, but I've thought these could be switched too. We could have Jacksonville and Carolina in the matchup of two teams that came in 1995, and then Tennessee versus Atlanta. Which of these two would you prefer? I'm starting now to lean a little bit more toward switching it and have Jacksonville and Carolina. You could have a trophy that just has a 95 on it. And then for Tennessee versus Atlanta, I guess you'd play for a trophy that looks like a banjo.
I was about to say, are you gonna do Tennessee versus Kansas City, and the trophy's gonna be a bottle of barbecue sauce?
Well, they're both in the AFC. That's the problem. Also, Tennessee really isn't known for barbecue, but Carolina does have their own style of barbecue that could be interesting. I guess if you kept the Tennessee-Carolina thing, and you could have the Smoky Mountain rivalry or something like that.
So we got Jacksonville and who?
Well, Jacksonville could have Carolina or Atlanta. I'm thinking Carolina would be better because, honestly, Jacksonville and Atlanta, it's like, what the heck are we even doing here? So that's what I'm going to go with. The 95 rivalry and the Banjo Bowl.
Of Tennessee and Atlanta.
Correct.
The Banjo Bowl. Oh, my God.
Yep. So now we have our last pairing that's debatable. We can have the Battle of L.A. We got the Rams and the Chargers, which would leave us with Kansas City and San Francisco. Now, the intrigue of Kansas City and San Francisco would obviously be they traded quarterbacks, they matched up in a Super Bowl once. You could have a trophy that just is a bust of Joe Montana. Or you could put Alex Smith on the other side of it for all I care. But the possible switch here is you could do Kansas City and the Rams, considering the Rams used to be in Missouri, and then you could have the Chargers versus San Francisco. They matched up in a Super Bowl once, though it was a laugher, and you got the whole LA versus San Francisco dynamic. So which of these two alternatives would be better?
I'm going with the Bay Bowl, and I'm going with the Misery Bowl.
Well, that's not really an option. We only have one team in the Bay, so we could have the Battle of LA and then the
old
Chiefs
school
Niners.
Bay. Old school Bay, really. Same state, really. It involves water.
So basically, which of the two teams would you rather have the Chiefs play, Niners or Rams?
I'll have the Chiefs play the Rams.
Okay. So then you've got the LA San Fran thing going with the Chargers and the Niners. All right. I kind of lean more toward the Battle of LA personally.
That's
But
fair
yeah.
to assess. But
Yep,
still,
leaning.
either could work.
Exactly.
And if I
So
had to see this every year as tradition, I would be completely fine with this. I really would. And I can't imagine how stacked the house is going to be on some of them.
what do you mean?
I'll just say this, man. If you didn't know, there's been a lot of times now, this is pre-COVID and such, right? But there's a time where you were looking at, okay, who packs the house the most? There was one time I saw the list where number one was the Cowboys, not shocking. Number two was the Jets. Number five was the Giants.
Okay.
And these were not great teams.
Right.
So I'm thinking to myself, MetLife Stadium's going to be filled to the brim. That place will sell out, man. No joke.
Yeah, for Giants Jets games. Or just anyone.
Well, anyone really, but I can't imagine that, particularly if there's something on the line. Giants, Jets. Oh yeah, I mean that's something. I mean, although they've never really just been on the same kind of pace to do so. I mean, I don't think there's ever going to be a MetLife Super Bowl kind of thing, but still,
Probably not.
dream situation.
So actually, what could be fun is if this was week one every year. You play your rival in your territory.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's always going to be those rivals that, even though it's non-division, it's just like, we hate you. Like right now, it's Baltimore and Tennessee.
It's true. But yeah, I just want to see a little bit more regional type things because the divisions are all whack. And let's refresh it a little bit. Let's change it up. Let's get some new rivalries going. And I think this would be a good way to do it. You got some theme with it all, and yep. Okay, the absurd trophies were a little bit over dramatic, but they would still be funny.
No, they were on point. They were on point. So we knew trophies of a few of them. So what would be the trophy of Dallas Pittsburgh?
Well, you can't have the Lombardi trophy for that, but let's see. I mean, they met multiple times in a Super Bowl in the 70s. So I guess it would just be a bust of Richard Nixon.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Or maybe you could have John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever. Him in his platform shoes, discoing.
A bobblehead of John Travolta during that time. That could work. That could work. Washington, Baltimore. What's the trophy of that?
Well, there's a number of ways you could go with this one. You could do the Capitol building, the Washington Monument, or a crab.
Or, well, this also might be a shot at both cities. An empty shell casing.
Okay. Calm down.
but it's like something outrageous. It's like the empty shell casing of like a 50 cal, just to make it bold and to spread awareness, maybe.
Perhaps.
But, doesn't look like something you just found on the ground walking to work. Something less sketchy.
Maybe.
You put a lot of work into this, man, and honestly, this excited me. This made my day right here. It really did.